My name is Juan Gabriel Torre, and I am a UK education counselor. And with me, my counselor, Miss Bernadette Abangan, will be hosting this program. So we do have few uh, lovely guests, such as Mr. Harun Rias, Dr. Alex Hiller, and Miss Sunny Healy, with some other guests as well, as such as Dean Brooks and her student as well. Okay, so yeah, before we get to the nitty gritty part of all those details, let's go to the first question, which is why? Why study in the business? Why study business in the UK? So there are a lot of reasons why we should study business in the UK, and let's go through them one by one. Okay, so firstly, we do have the international recognition. So most schools in the UK, if not all, have impressive international reputation, and they're ranked among one of the best in the world. So yeah, graduating from those programs and universities will boost your eligibility to have um, better chances in future plans. We also have a high level of student welfare. So with this one, most universities do have student welfare support in place that will help you out in any concerns or any need of assistance when you stay in their universities. Value for money, going abroad it's a huge investment. So yeah, it will it's a really good investment for your money because you will have a lot of opportunities, and it will really help you plan out your future visions. And with that one, it is very prevalent in the UK because it takes less time to graduate or finish those programs, such as in the bachelor's, it takes only 3 years. And for master's, it would usually take 1 year. There's also the chance of establishing networks. So we do have a lot of international students that you will get to interact with and make connections with. So in turn, it might secure a job in the future, right? And then we do have the personal development. So being in a foreign country and being in an establishment where there's a lot of different kinds of nationalities, you do have the chance to really explore who you really are, and you will be able to help yourself in finding what interests you, what your future goals are. And yeah, the possibilities are endless here. And lastly, we do have the graduate immigration route. So the graduate route allows you to apply for the graduate visa, which allows you to stay in the UK for 2 years after your degree, and then you'll be able to find work now. All right. And then with these reasons, there's a lot of reasons for you to uh, go to the UK, and you'll have a lot of opportunities to be able to secure a bright future ahead. So, speaking of opportunities, there are many locations for you to go to. So, here are some of the major ones, which are Glasgow, Leeds, Manchester, South Wales, and London. But don't worry, we do have a lot more. So, IDP is partnered with 100 UK universities. So, if you like, we can scan the QR code so that you'll be able to see the full list of universities, right? Already. So yeah, so after seeing the reasons and all the different universities that you can apply for, what are you waiting for? Why not just book an appointment with our IDP counselor? So if you would like to, kindly make sure to send a message to IDP Appointments Christine, and she will help you out in scheduling a counseling session. Alrighty. So uh, for now, we will be having our speakers. So first up would be the representative of Brunel University, London, which is Mr. Harun Riaz, the Deputy Head of International and Student Recruitment for Southeast Asia. Please take it away, Mr. Harun.
Thank you, John, for that very nice introduction and for that overview of studying business in the UK. I think that covered a lot of really important points. Welcome, everyone. It's lovely to meet you all. My name is Haroon. I'm from Brunel University, London. I'm hopefully going to be visiting Philippines sometime soon this year, and if I do, I'll be sure to be visiting the IDP office. and it'll be great to meet some of you guys in person as well. So today I'm going to give a brief overview of marketing and some of our marketing programs we offer here at Brunel University, London. I'm going to slightly focus on two programs in particular. One is our MSc Marketing and one is our Business Intelligence and Digital Marketing courses. We'll speak about this briefly, some of the options, and then I'll give a brief overview of the university in general and the kind of application process and the kind of students we're looking for as well. As always, if there's any questions, please feel free to put them into the chat box. So if I can go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So I'll start with MSc Marketing Program. So here at sorry, next slide, please. So here at Brunel University, our MSc Marketing is a one-year program. It has two start dates. It starts in either September or January. It's a one-year taught program, but you are able to, and I'll speak briefly about this in the coming slides, you are able to extend that with a work placement as part of your program and get some invaluable work experience whilst you're studying here in the UK. So the first thing you'll notice is there's a mix of compulsory and both optional subjects. The idea of this is that you cover the main principles of the program and you get a really solid understanding of it, but then you also get to specialize in, it could be a module which is relates to your future career or a personal interest or something you really want to develop. So the idea is even with a marketing program and a marketing degree, you can still specialize in something which is more HR management, for example, or entrepreneurship, which is more general management, or business planning. So the idea is you have the chance to specialize here. So this MSc Marketing program is open for students from any background. So that means even if you've studied, for example, an engineering program now, or you're studying social sciences, and you're thinking of changing and changing your area of expertise, and you think marketing is the way forward. I mean, the good thing about this program is you're able to do that. So if you haven't got a background in business or in marketing, that doesn't mean you can't study it for your MSc. You're still able to do that, and you're still able to, within that 1 year, get a fantastic understanding of the program, develop really good skills which are relevant to industry, and will hopefully be with you for the rest of your life as well. So here, what we've put here is a list of the compulsory modules for our MSc Marketing program, as well as the optional modules. Can I go to the next slide, please? So here we have a different program, and it's a newer program. Our MSc Marketing we've been running for many, many decades. This is a new program, I believe it's in its 6th year, which is Business Intelligence and Digital Marketing. So as you can, next slide, please. As you can probably tell from the name, it's a little bit more specialized. And for this program, ideally, we're looking for students who have got already some form of a background in marketing, or sorry, in business generally. So you'll have an understanding of business, you have an understanding of marketing, and now you'll be coming to a much more specialized program. So for example, if you're interested in marketing, and digital marketing, which is obviously a massively growing trend, but you don't have that background, then the good thing is with the MSc Marketing, the first program, you can cover it all in one. Again, this one is a little bit more specialized. So you'll be covering two key components in this course, is digital marketing and business intelligence, as well as quite a unique module we have, which is professional consultancy in business intelligence. And the idea of this is to give you a very industry-focused module approach, so to prepare you, for example, if you were to open your own consultancy, what that would look like, what you'll need to do, prepare that, what kind of person you need to be. So it's really forward-thinking, and it's really getting you ready for a career in this area. As we mentioned before, we also do have optional modules with this program as well, and they come from a wide range of our business programs. So global outsourcing, for example, we come from our global supply management program. Consumer behavior is from business. Global diversity management is from our international business program. So even with this specialized program in digital marketing and business intelligence, you're still getting a few modules from different areas of business. Can I go next slide, please? So this is a very brief, I think you're very fortunate today. I believe you'll be having some academics from some of the other wonderful universities here in the UK who I'm sure will be able to give you a much more detailed understanding of how these courses are taught. This is quite an overview of, so you can get an idea of how the program is taught, and you can see it's a mix of lectures, it's a mix of some online learning platforms, it's presentations, it's seminars, it's a wide range of things, and you're working with very closely with amazing staff here at Brunel University to really make the most of that 1 year. As you know, in the UK, it tends to be a 1 year degree as opposed to Australia or a state. So we really want to make the most of that 1 year here in the UK. You do get a huge amount of support during your studies here. We have our own dedicated academic support team for each college and for each school. So for the business program, you have an academic support team. We have a separate team that supports your social care. We have a separate team that supports your, if you have any English language development you want to specialize in. So there's a huge amount of support. You get paired up with another student when you join with a more senior student. So there's a lot of support to get you through that year and to ensure you make the most of it. Can I have the next slide, please? So as I mentioned briefly before, work placements. So this is a huge benefit and a way of really making the most of your time here in the UK. So a lot of our programs, including all of our marketing programs, come with a work placement option. So this can be anywhere from 3 months to up to 1 year. And it tends to be after your 1 year degree, but it's formed as as part of your course. It's not guaranteed, but we have a wonderful placement team here in the university, award-winning in fact, and their role is to help you secure this work placement to get you ready, prepare your CV, prepare your interview skills, help you to separate yourself from the competition. Even the process of applying for a placement is a skill in and of itself, and a huge and a wonderful opportunity. So here I've listed some of our marketing students where they've gone on to do their placements in the last 2 intakes. So you can see it's a really wide, varied company. I always say with placements, don't just look for the very top, the Barclays of this world. Even if you end up doing a placement at a small local company here in Uxbridge, it's still a wonderful opportunity to get some tangible work skills and make the most of your degree. So I would always recommend, I think if you have the time, it's a wonderful opportunity to work placement. If you're not able to secure one, as I mentioned, they're not guaranteed and now quite competitive. It will just go back to doing a 1 year degree. So I feel it's a really good opportunity, and I'd always recommend going in for that. Next slide, please. So let's a little bit more about our business school and some of the accreditations we have. So you notice that a lot of business schools here in the UK carry accreditations. Our business school, we're very proud to say we're a double accredited business school. We have both the AACSB accreditation and the AMBER accreditation. I would recommend having a look at what these actually mean. So there's not just a bunch of letters, but essentially says we have one of the top 5% business schools in the whole world, in fact. And it's a testament to how wonderful our programs are and how much they get you ready for life in the business world. Sorry, I think my voice might be going. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So that was a brief overview of some of our marketing programs here in the UK, here in Brunel University. I'm just going to give a very brief overview of the university as well. So Brunel University is one of the top 40 universities in the UK. We're a very international university. We're number 4th most for international outlook in the whole world. So we've got students from all around the world. We have partners all around the world. So although it's a UK university, it's got a really diverse and international outlook here on campus. We're a one-campus university, so we have a campus in West London in a town called Uxbridge. Next slide, please. I think it might be a picture of our campus. Yep, there you go. So it's quite unique to have an actual campus in London. You don't tend to get this. So we have everything in one place. All your accommodations, your lectures, Starbucks, Costa, food, doctors, everything you need all in one place. So you get this wonderful campus feel and this wonderful campus environment, but you also get to be within about 45 minutes of central London, pardon me. So you really get the best of both this campus life and London life. And again, for those of you who are thinking of work placements, being in London is a huge benefit for you there. We do have a wide range of scholarships for those students who, for this September 2024 intake, if you have a 2-1 equivalent, and I'll put in the chat box afterwards what the equivalents are for the Philippines, but essentially anybody with a 2-1 equivalent who has an offer and makes their deposit payment before the end of July will get a £5,000 automatic discount. So this is off all of our programs, including our marketing programs. And for those of you who have a 2-2 equivalent, it will be and again, if you make your deposit payment before the end of July, it will be a £2,000 automatic scholarship off your tuition fee. So I've just left my details here, my WhatsApp, my line, my email. Again, my role is to support Philippine students from the Philippines, help them make their choices. And for those of you who are choosing Brunel, to help you in that application process, getting you across. So any questions you have about anything studying in the UK, please do reach out to me. And again, you've got the wonderful IDP team based in the Philippines who can also provide a huge amount of support for you.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Mr. Haroon, for the insightful
Welcome.
presentation. Yeah. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, please type it in the chat box. And yeah, we have some time for some questions so that Sir Haroon can answer them. Kindly let me know.
I think I see questions with regards to IELTS.
Oh,
Is that
let's
right?
see.
Or is that for me or is that generally?
Oh, okay. Let me just double check. Mhm.
I mean, I can just I should
Oh
have
yeah.
probably touched on it during the presentation, so I can just go over it now.
All
So
right.
for the so thank you, John. For the programs I mentioned before, the MSc marketing program, two programs, as with all of our business programs, the IELTS requirement would be 6.5 overall, with an 6.0 minimum in each of the four subscores. We also have our own English language test, which we do online as well, which is a little bit cheaper than the IELTS as well. So that's for those of you who are sure on Brunel, that's another opportunity for you to take something. But yeah, IELTS is 6.5 overall with 6.0 in each section. I hope that answers the question, Bianca.
Hmm. Okay, guys, do you still have any questions to ask? Okay, it looks like we don't have any questions. So yeah, may I ask, how is the Filipino community in your universities, Mr. Haroon?
So it's quite a small community. It's growing. It was growing year on year now. I believe we have around about 13 students from the Philippines currently studying in Brunel. So it's a small community, but it is there. So if you feel homesick, we have a Filipino society who run events and work like that. Brunel University, we tend not to have any one country with a huge amount of students. As I mentioned, we're the fourth most for international outlook in the world. We have students from really a wide range of different countries and different backgrounds, but we do have a small Filipino community. So for sure, if you feel homesick, then you
Mm,
won't be alone.
I see, I see. And are there any general tips for you to study in the UK that you can give to our students?
The general tips, I think it's always good to be prepared. So you do your research, and I guess everybody's here today is taking that first step in doing that research. I think that's a wonderful thing. Ask questions of your IDP team or of the university representative, or if you have the fortune of speaking to one of the academics here today, ask as many questions as you can. Enjoy and make the most of it. That 1 year for if you're coming for a master's, it tends to go very quickly. So really, really do make the most of it. Ensure obviously as well as working hard, you enjoy your time in the UK. It's a wonderful opportunity. Make the most of all of our universities have to offer. As I think I touched on briefly, the wide range of support we have from finding roles, finding jobs, graduate support packages, academic support. Make the most of all the support you have in university. Don't be shy and ask questions.
I see. And are there any part-time work that the students can join while studying there? And will
There
the
is
university help out? Yep.
We do. So we have two different things. We have the placement team, which support with the academic placements, which are as part of your program. And then we have something which is called the job shop team. And they're more to support with like part-time work around Uxbridge, which is the town we're in, or even on campus with the university. So there is scope for part-time work. Again, it's like with everything, there's a level of competition to it, but there's a huge amount of support. And although obviously the focus needs to be on study, it's always good to find some part-time work if it is available as well. But yeah, we have a team that can support with that.
Oh, okay. I see. I see. So, yeah, thank you so much for that. Guys, please, if you have any other questions, please push for it. If not, we do have, if you want to book an appointment with IDP, kindly go message IDP appointments Christine so that we can book a consultation and talk about Brunel University, if ever you want to join there, right? Alrighty.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for
Okay.
having me today as well. It's been a
Thank,
pleasure
yeah.
speaking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Haroon. So
Welcome.
yeah, now for the next speaker, we do have Dr. Alex Hiller, the head of postgraduate and executive education in Nottingham Trent University. So hi, Dr. Alex. May I ask, can you go and speak about your university?
Excellent. Yes. Good evening, everyone. It's evening. We're in the Philippines now. Yes.
Yep, that's correct.
So good evening to you all. Thank you all very much for your time today. It's great to be here and to have the opportunity to speak to you. So thank you for having me. So my name is Alex. I'm the head of postgraduate and executive education here at Nottingham Business School at Nottingham Trent University. So that means I have overall responsibility for all of our taught masters programs. We have a very large and diverse masters community here in the school, probably of around 1,400 students or something like that, covering a whole range of different nationalities. I think this year we have 65 different nationalities of students studying on the program. So really, really vibrant postgraduate community here in the school. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about international business. We see international business as being one of our most popular subjects of study. There are lots of different types of international business programs, though. So I thought maybe what I could do is just explain a little bit about the importance of international business, why students choose to study international business, the different types of programs that are available. And then I'll focus just a little bit towards the end on our own international business degree, but put that in the context of our wider portfolio of programs. So if you're thinking about studying international business, hopefully this will be helpful for you in deciding what and where to study. So I was, if we could just go back to that previous slide, sorry. So yeah, I mean, I think it's, sometimes it seems a bit of a strange one to talk about international business as something very discrete in its own right, because these days, of course, most business is done internationally. And even if you're working in a company which is only really operating within a national market, you're going to be dealing with suppliers overseas. You're going to be dealing with potentially different customer chains in different countries. So increasingly, business is globalized and international, and it's a transversal skill to understand international business for anyone studying a business degree. So I think the first thing that I would say is, whilst we have specialisms in international business, all of our degree programs are international in nature. And I know the previous speaker talked about the school accreditations. You might have seen from the first slide that we're also accredited by AACSB and EQUIS. We're also a Prime Champion, that's the Principles for Responsible Management Education. All of those accrediting bodies insist that we have an international outlook in the school, that any program is internationalized in terms of thinking about a particular discipline from an international dimension. However, some students do want to study really specifically in international business, and the rationale for that, outside of any internationalization of a marketing program or a finance program or any other program that we might offer, is really to focus specifically on these things. So, to think very specifically about international business practices, to think about what it's like to do business overseas. Quite often, graduates of our IB programs will go into account management roles where they might be dealing in an international firm with lots of different international clients. They might be working in international supply chain related roles. They might be working in the head offices of firms that are operating internationally and dealing with human resource issues and thinking about how that works across countries. Some students go and work in international bodies like the United Nations or into international trade type roles. So really thinking about those practices that cross borders is really important. Thinking about students as global citizens, really developing students' sensitivity to what it's like to operate globally and to really truly be a global citizen, and to think about how globalization impacts societies more generally. And to develop that really critical understanding that we're all part of a global society as individuals and as organizations, and to think about what that might mean in terms of a business career moving forwards. So an international business curriculum will really try and do some of those things. So yeah, next slide, thank you. I thought it might be helpful just to show you this. You might not be able to see a lot of the detail of this. If you're not familiar with the Graduate Management Admissions Council, they're an organisation that run the GMAT exam as one thing. Some of you might be familiar with GMAT. We don't require GMAT for entry to our programs, but that's one thing that GMAT do. But the other thing they do is they do a lot of research. They do a lot of research with prospective students about what they want from business degrees. They do a lot of work with recruiters about what they want from business graduates. And this was an infographic from the last corporate recruiters research that they did. So if you want to look at the detail, the web address is there. You go to gmac.com /corporate recruiters. And they were looking at the skills that businesses are saying they're going to want from their graduates. What are the skills that are in growth? What are the skills that they find the most useful? And I just thought what was really interesting is that the importance of communication skills, in addition to increasingly to tech and data analysis skills, is really, really important. But if you look at the bottom left there, 81% of those recruiters that saying what they're looking for in their graduate hires is cross-cultural competence. And speaking different languages. So multilingualism is another one as well. So those types of communication skills that enable graduates to really operate in a global business context, really, really, really important to recruiters. And of course, IB programs specifically will try and develop a lot of those skills, particularly in terms of the cross-cultural competence. So I thought you might be interested to see that. Again, you can go to the GMAC website and have a look at the reports in a bit more detail if you're interested to look at those other skills that they're saying are important. But communication skills of critical importance now and will continue to be in the future. And I thought that was quite an interesting finding from that piece of research. So next slide, please. So students who are thinking about studying international business, I think for us, there are kind of these three key drivers really, and things that you might be thinking about if you're looking at an IB program. The first one in terms of the knowledge base is to say that the international business programs are typically quite interdisciplinary. So you look at all of the different functional areas of business. You might do a little bit of marketing, you might do a little bit of finance, you might do a little bit of HR management. You'll almost certainly do some international strategy type modules. So you'll cover the broad business areas, and of course that will be all contextualized to doing business internationally, but really specifically, it will also focus on international awareness, international competence, international expertise. So really developing managers that have that international outlook and understand how international markets work and how international supply chains work, and how international cultures might impact how we do business differently. And finally, this really important thing about how you facilitate communication across national borders, including things like negotiation skills and all of those things. So that cross-cultural communication and competence that, in that GMAC survey, employers said was really, really important. So you probably want to be thinking about, will a program help me do those things if you're thinking about studying international business? Okay, next one, please. And then when you come and do your program, you're also going to be thinking about, again, communication critical and the role of language. Now, how does that work, not only in the classroom, but how does that work when you're thinking about doing business across borders? And also not thinking about this as just a theoretical domain. So, looking at business practice at an international level, what are businesses doing? Trying to give you as much exposure to that, either through the use of cases and simulations, or actually real life practices through international study tours and consultancies, international internships, those kinds of things. And that engagement with industry is really, really important. And then going back to that thing about, critical eye, about globalization, the effects of globalization, for us, and I would say in any international business program, really thinking about the role of sustainability in global contexts, really, really important. So whether that's, economic sustainability, social sustainability, or environmental sustainability, big focus for us in our programs and ought to be a focus, I would say, in any international business program. Okay, next one, please. So if you think about all of that together, what should you have in an IB program? You should have your knowledge, so knowing things about the global business environment and doing business across borders, knowing about how business works across borders, knowing about how different cultures might impact people and business operations. You've then got your behaviors, so developing your own skills that you will need in an international business requirement role. And then this critical component, so really being able to examine situations critically, being able to compare and contrast different scenarios to know what might work in different contexts. I think can frustrate students sometimes, but there are very rarely right or wrong answers in business. It's about looking at a situation and trying to understand what kinds of approaches might work or might not work. But it's never usually a direct yes or no answer. And then I talked about ethics and the sustainability dimension, really, really important. But really try to break students out of just these kind of, automatic thinking patterns, being able to develop students' critical skills. And again, if you look at that GMAC survey, employers say that critical thinking, really, really important skill for graduates to have. And IB develops that, I would say, in spades. It's a really critical part of an IB program. Okay, next one, please. So I thought I'd just kind of demystify this a little bit, or try to, in terms of the types of business programs that you might see. And I know you're hearing about lots of different types of business programs today. I think the way that I would think about it is that we can think about business programs on kind of 4 dimensions. So we have what we call pre-experience programs. So these are programs where you don't need to have any work experience as an entry requirement. Conversely, you might have post-experience programs where you do have to have work experience as an entry requirement. So for us, I know you're going to hear about MBAs later. For us, an MBA is the classic post-experience program. You have to have 3 years work experience at a fairly senior level to be admitted to the program. If you have work experience, I would always encourage you to consider an MBA, because MBAs are designed for you. Within that, you also have what we would call generalist programs. So a generalist program, again, is where you would study quite a broad range of different business and management subjects. So typically, the key generalist pre-experience program would be like an MSc in management. So you don't need work experience to do the program, but it takes a very broad approach in the curriculum. You'll study a bit of everything. You'll do a bit of marketing, a bit of finance, a bit of HR, a bit of strategy. You might have opportunity to specialize within it, but it's a very broad-based management program. You then have specialist programs. So you heard about masters in marketing earlier, but you might equally have specialist programs in finance or supply chain management or analytics or something else. So international business for us really could be an MSc management where you can specialize a little bit in IB, or it might be a full specialization in itself that takes into account all of those things I just talked about in terms of what we might try and do in an IB program. So I guess most of you on the call today are going to be looking at these pre-experience programs. So maybe you're just finishing your degrees, or maybe you finished and you've got a year's work experience, maybe some internships or something. So you're probably going to be looking in that top row, and the decision is, well, do I do a generalist program like an MSc in management, or do I do something more specialist to enter a specialist career? So I'm just explaining that because I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about how IB works for our school across all of that, because we do have different options in different areas. You'll always find that an MBA is an international program. It'll be, it'll take a very international perspective on the curriculum. There may well be international consultancies and things built into it. MBAs are designed to develop more senior managers in working in an international business domain. But I think most of you will be looking at this pre-experienced generalist or specialist. The conversion thing, I think the previous speaker mentioned this. Conversion basically means, do you need a degree in that subject area to gain admission to the programme? Most of our master's programmes are conversion, so you don't need to have studied that subject before. There are one or two little exceptions, and sometimes in specialist degrees you might find that they ask you to have done a business-related degree previously. I think more commonly you find those in things like accounting and economics, but for us, most of ours are conversion degrees. You don't need to have studied that subject before. Okay, next one, please. So I hope that sort of helps a little bit when you're just looking at business programs in business schools and thinking about different types of programs and what do you want to have. How that works in our school is that our generalist pre-experience management program is the MSc in management. Now there is an international business specialization within the MSc management. So the way those specializations work is that you do all of your core management subjects, but then you can do a small number of credits in your specialization. So here you might do modules in global supply chain management or international human resource management or international marketing, but it's really sort of focusing on those knowledge bases within that broader management curriculum. We then have a series of specialist degrees. So we have a suite of marketing programs, we have finance and economics programs, and then we have other specialist MScs. And you'll see in there that we also have an MSc in international business. So this is the really specialist one that focuses on a lot of those things that I just talked about in the early slides, but you might well be considering both. And it really depends what you want out of a program and what the content of the program is and what opportunities there are within the program. So I thought what I would do is just focus a little bit on the MSc in international business and just tell you a little bit about what's in that program, how we approach it and what opportunities there are, and maybe just encourage you to think about what sorts of opportunities you might be looking for when you're choosing your degree. So next slide, please. So be helpful for you just to know how we structure the programs before we do that. So most of our master's programs are 1 year in duration, and they work on 3 semesters. So typically in semester 1, you do your core modules. We have a really rigorous onboarding program at the start of the program that starts before you arrive. Then when you come, big focus on developing students' confidence, team working abilities, start to think about some leadership skills, really big focus on getting you out, doing some exciting activities with you, getting you working together. Now, I said our programs are all very international in nature, and they are anyway. So already, regardless of what program you're doing, you're already working as part of a cross-cultural team. So that's a real focus from the start. You then do your first semester modules. This is regardless of the type of program. We teach those in blocks. So you do 1 module or course at a time. So you only have to focus on one thing. You study that over a period of time. You do the assessment at the end, and then you move on to the next one. So it means that your assessment is spread throughout the year, and it also means that you only have to focus on one subject at a time. We tend to find that our international students in particular find that really, really helpful. Second semester is then where you do your specialisms. Now, it might be on an IB program that's the time if there's an exchange program where you could go overseas for a semester. So I'll say something about that in a second. But for students that stay on campus, we have a wide range of events that also happen in that semester. We have really dedicated a personal development week for our postgrad students. So we have lots of businesses coming in, delivering workshops on things like cross-cultural communication, negotiation skills, and developing your personal brand, as well as some more technical things, maybe coding workshops and things like that. And then later in the term, we run what's called our Global Responsibility Week. So this is where we invite professors from our partner institutions internationally to come in and deliver sessions on a theme related to doing business responsibly across national borders. So semester 1 is core, semester 2 is specialization, and then semester 3 is when you do your major project. And for most students, this is a business-facing project. So a consultancy project or some kind of in-company type project. And then underpinning all of that all students take a professional and personal development type module. We have English for academic purposes workshops for all students that feed into all of the modules, and a whole range of continuing professional development events. We're a really large school. There is lots and lots going on. I know one of our IB students last year said that she thought the school was like a sea of opportunities, that whatever you want to do, whatever your goals are, you will be supported to achieve those goals with a wide range of events. And I think that's definitely true. So that's how things are structured generally. If you could go to the next slide for me. So if we think about our international business program specifically, and I'll just focus on that a little bit. So if you go to the next one. So in that first term or that first semester, this is where you're doing your core IB modules. So you would do a course in international business environment and strategy. So really thinking about that broader context about doing business across borders. You'd do a module in organization and management. So here you'd do a little bit of human resource management, you'd do a little bit of finance, you'd do a little bit of marketing. So you'd look at that kind of wider functional business. We talked about the importance of language. So you do a language in that semester as well. You can choose whatever language you want to do. The language school here in the university has a very wide range of options, and you do it at whatever level you want to do that language at. So if it's total beginner, that's fine, but it is a requirement of the program that you do an additional language. And then you start your research methods module in that semester as well. So that's where you do your foundational subjects. Second semester, if you want to stay in Nottingham and stay in the UK, you do modules in international HRM and global supply chain management. And then you do an international experience module. So that's where you'd go overseas to one of our partner schools, and you'd do a consultancy project for a company or an organization in that location. So this year and last year, we've been working with DePaul University in Chicago. So the students were over there working with some social enterprises in Chicago and doing some consultancy work for those organizations. But in the past, we've run projects in France, Portugal, Italy, so really across Europe as well. So that can vary year on year, but last 2 years has been Chicago. If you don't want to stay at home and you wanted to do a semester overseas instead, then you could go for the whole semester and study at one of our partner institutions. We have, again, a huge number of partners internationally throughout Europe, well, on every continent actually, that could be an option for you to go and study on the IB program if that's what you wanted to do. And getting that international experience is really, really important for us. Then you come back and you undertake your major project. So again, for most students, this is a client-facing project, a consultancy-style project, might be with an international firm, or if there are students who really want to go into a PhD program afterwards, you could do a more traditional kind of business research type project. Okay, so that's the single award. If you go to the next slide, please. So yeah, if you stay at home, that's what it looks like. International business environment and strategy, you do one module at a time, organization and management, cross-cultural management, international HRM, global supply chain management, international experience, and your major project. And that's a year from September to September, okay? Or if you studied abroad, you stay at home for your first semester, then you go overseas for a semester, and then you come back to us to complete your major project, okay? So next one, please. So the slight twist to this is that we have a really exciting program, which is a related program, but it's a dual award. So this is a slightly longer program. It's 15 months rather than a year. So you do 4 semesters. And what happens here is you do the first semester with us, exactly as I just described. So you do the international business environment and strategy, organization and management, cross-cultural management. Semester 2, you would go to one of 5 partners, and you can choose which partner you would go to. So those partners are Kedge Business School in Marseille, in France, the University of Brescia in Italy, ISTA in Lisbon, in Portugal. There's Clermont, which is also in France, or there's National Sun Yat-sen University in Taiwan. So you could choose which one you wanted to go to. You would go over there and you would do a semester of classes with those partners. They're all very highly ranked, accredited international business schools. Everything is taught and assessed in English at those schools as well. So great opportunity to go overseas and study with one of those partners. Your third semester, you'd then do a 12-week work placement. Now, you could do that in the place that you went to study for your second semester. So you could stay in Lisbon, or you could stay in Taiwan, or you could stay in France, or you could go home and do it from home, or you could come to the UK and do it from the UK, as long as it's an internationally focused work placement. And there's support from the partner schools and from us to help you find those internships. And then the final semester, you do a dissertation. So you do a business research project that you'd come back to us to do. So why would you do that and extend it by this extra semester? So again, you see you do first semester, the 3 modules with us, then a semester of study at one of those 5 partners, then your work placement, and then your dissertation. And that's 15 months rather than a year. But if you go to the next slide, a huge benefit of doing this is that you graduate with 2 master's degrees. So you get an MSc in International Business from us. If you went to KEDGE, you could do an MSc in Corporate Sustainable Finance or the MSc Marketing and Brand Management. If you go to ISTA in Lisbon, you'd get an MSc in International Management. Brush an MSc in International Business and Management, and they have some specializations associated with that, as you can see. In Claremont, you can do an MSc in International Commerce and Digital Marketing, or an MSc in International Project Management, depending on which courses you choose. And at Sun Yat-sen in Taiwan, it's actually an MBA in Global Human Resource Management, the award there. So at the end of all of that, you'd come away with 2 master's degrees, one from us and one from one of those 5 partners. So it's a really unique degree. And if you're really thinking about those earlier slides that I said, if you're really wanting to develop those skills and those competencies in international business and get that international experience, the program has then got all of the things that those corporate recruiters are looking for that we talked about in terms of developing that cross-cultural competence, the international experience, the cross-cultural communication skills. And I would say that students that do this program tend to do really, really, really well when they go out into the jobs market. They're really high achieving and really high performing students. Okay. So I'm just going to finish by, when we look at these, we're driven by employability. We know that students who are choosing to do a master's program are doing it because they want to give themselves an advantage in the jobs market. They're doing it for career-related reasons. So, really for us, that's looking at what do those corporate recruiters want? Are our programs delivering that? How are we developing students' knowledge, skills, and competencies? Internationalization, obviously, really key part of any IB program. And for us, sustainability as well, which you would see throughout all of those modules, really big focus for us on embedding the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, getting students to think about sustainability-related practices. Again, on the international experience, a lot of the consultancy work there is quite often with social enterprises or community projects and things like that as well. So I'm conscious that I have spoken for quite a long time, so I'm going to stop and see if anyone has any questions. But I hope that was helpful. It can be really confusing when you look at a lot of business schools' portfolios in terms of the range of degrees that they have. So I hope that was helpful a little bit in explaining some of that and also giving you a bit of insight into IB programs and why study IB.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Alex, for that very thorough presentation. We highly value how your courses are focused on the student and their learning needs that are rooted in practice-based, industry-oriented, and collaborative learning. Again, thank you very much, Dr. Alex, for your time with us today. And if any one of you have some questions, kindly type them in the chat box and we'll try to answer them one by one. Questions for Dr. Alex specifically.
And I'm happy to take questions on any aspect of our provision, not just international business if you have questions about something else. But so I can see a couple of things about tuition fees and finance more generally. So it depends on the program. The fees vary by program. So, for example, the dual degree carries a slightly higher price tag than the single award, but just because it's a longer program and there are more costs associated in developing that. What I would encourage you to do is go and have a look at our website, and I'll just put a link into the chat for you so you can see. If you bear with me a second. I'll put a link into the dual award so you can just see what that is. Can I post into the chat? Am I able to do that? I can do that, can't I? So you'll see if you click on the link for any of our programs, you'll see there's a tab on fees and funding. And if you click on international, it will tell you exactly what the international fee is for that program. They're typically around 21 to 22,000 or something like that. Again, there's a bit of variety depending on what the program has embedded within it. So, for example, with the MSc International Business, there's either the study tour or the dual degree. So that's a bit more expensive because obviously all the costs then of the study tour, of the travel and the accommodation and everything are covered within the course fee. If you did, for example, the MSc Management, which didn't have a study tour built into it, then the course fee is a bit less. We do have on some programs the option to do a year-long placement. I know the previous speaker spoke about that as well. So if having the opportunity to work for a year in the UK is really important to you, then you could look at that as well. And again, that carries a small additional fee. So there isn't one fee. My advice is very much, look at the program that you're interested in, go to the fees and funding page on the website, and all the fees are really clear and transparent for you there. The other thing that I would say as well, though, is that we have quite a wide-ranging scholarship scheme. And the scholarships can cover up to 50% of the program fee. So you have to have an offer of a place on a course first, and then you can apply for a scholarship. It's a competitive process where you make a written application. But we've made a lot of scholarship awards to international students, and we're really keen to encourage more students from the Philippines to come into the school. So yeah, please look at the scholarship scheme. Again, you'll see the details of that on the fees and funding tab of any of the course pages that you might look on for the school.
Now, do we have any more questions? Yeah, thank you so much for answering those questions, Dr. Alex. We actually have some questions that were sent directly to us. The first one would be, what opportunities does the business school offer for practical experience, such as internships or industry projects? Okay, great. Yeah, so there are lots. So again, it can depend, exactly how that works might depend on the program. But the vast majority of programs have as the major project, as I said, a kind of a real life project. So in most cases, that's a consultancy type project where you would be working for an organization as a team of management consultants, exactly as you would do if you were working for a firm of management consultants. So we find the clients, we work with those clients to scope out project briefs, and then you'd work as a small group, normally teams of kind of 4 to 6, delivering the report to that organization. The assessment is that you would, at the end of the project, you'd go to the company and you'd present to their managers or directors or owners or whoever it is that's doing the company, along with your academic supervisor, and then you prepare a report for that company. And then you do some individual work associated with it afterwards. The vast majority of our master's students do that project at the end. So I would say probably 80–90% of students do that kind of project. Where students don't, it's for normally one of 2 other reasons. One, because they've already done some work experience within the program. So a lot of our programs have the option to do a year-long work placement between semesters 2 and 3.
So these aren't guaranteed. You have to apply for them like you would have to apply for any other job. But we have a large placements office within the university, and we have a dedicated postgraduate placements recruitment consultant who works with students to help match them to businesses and support them with their applications and all that kind of thing. Normally, we place somewhere between 70 and 100 students. So it's about 10% of the overall student body that undertake a year-long placement. So that's one option on some programs. Again, have a look at the program that you're interested in and see if that's an option. On that dual degree, I mentioned the 12-week internship. So that's a core part of the program. You would do that as part of that dual degree. So then your major project is a sort of applied business research type project. On top, so look at the program. Does it have a placement opportunity? Does it have another internship type opportunity like the MSCIB Dual Award does? But regardless, the vast majority of students for a major project do a consultancy type project at the end. Lots of programs, or some programs, have international study weeks. So you might be going overseas for a week and doing an international consultancy type project. So the MSc International Business does, for example. We've got programs in management and project management and fintech that also have international study tours where you go and do consultancy type work built in. And then you'll also find that lots of the modules that you do here have live projects for modules, simulations. We put a big focus on what we call authentic assessment. So really applied assessment that you might be able to take with you when you go. It's not just a sort of a theoretical academic essay that once you've written it, no one ever sees it or reads it again. So that's huge for us as a school. You will see that throughout the program. Lots of opportunities to apply your learning, lots of business speakers coming in, lots of industry trips, lots of real life projects, lots of opportunities to do placements and internships. Again, I'd have a look at the web pages for the program you're interested in. It would detail all of those opportunities.
Thank you,
So I hope
Dr.
that answers that
Alex.
question.
All right. So another student actually sent me a message asking for grade requirements for her to be able to enroll to international business program.
Yeah. So for in all cases, we're looking for a good honours degree or equivalent. So usually that means equivalent to a UK 2-2 degree. There are a couple of exceptions. So for the international business dual degree, it's a slightly higher requirement. So we'd look for a 2-1 equivalent. And likewise, if you wanted to take a program that had a placement opportunity, again, there's a slightly higher degree requirement on that as well. Now, I know there are lots of differences with international equivalencies across the world in knowing what that means, but for the most, it's a 2-2 equivalent. Yeah, slightly higher in one or two other cases.
Thank you, Dr. Alex. Yeah, continue.
And I think there's a question about language as well. I mean, I think we look for IELTS 6.5 or equivalent, but again, if you look at the website, it details all of those language requirements and what we'll accept and what level you would need.
Right. Just also to add about the grade requirement, as answered by Dr. Alex, he mentioned about 2-1. So I would suggest to the student who messaged me to book a consultation with us. We will help you with the conversion of your PH grade to UK grade so that we will know if you were able to meet the entry requirement of the university or of the program particularly. Right? Do we have another question here? Let me check.
And I suppose the one thing that I would say, if anyone's got any questions specifically and they want to look at their degree result or to look at the specific equivalencies, you can contact our International Development Office team and the country rep for the Philippines. We can make the details available afterwards, and they'll be really happy to answer any questions about any of that stuff.
Okay, so here's another message. How does your university support international students in terms of accommodation, visa process, and adapting to life in the UK?
Okay, so well, yeah, there's quite a lot in there. I think the first thing that I would say, there's a lot of support for international students. I don't know if people know much about our university. I probably should have said this at the start, but if you have a look at the university, we've won a number of awards for international student support over recent years. We won the What Uni Student Choice Award last year for University of the Year. And we've won specific international prizes for our international support from What Uni as well. That's a really important one for us because that's one that's voted on by students. So the international office can support through application and the visa requirements. We have a dedicated international student support team as well, that once students come to enroll can help through that whole process of applying. I think most students find it relatively easy, and obviously there's support from IDP in the Philippines as well that can offer guidance on some of those things. So there's that one was about admissions and visa, wasn't it? And then the second was about settling into life in the UK. So we have a dedicated accommodation office. So I know there was a question about accommodation. So again, they can provide help and support with respect to accommodation. Nottingham is a very big student city. So I don't know if anyone knows anything about Nottingham. It's right in the middle of the country. So students quite like it because it's very centrally located. We're about 2 hours north of London, a bit less, about 2 hours from Manchester south. We're about an hour south of Leeds. So we're right in the middle, about an hour from Birmingham. So people like it because of its location. It's a very big student city. We have 2 very large universities here in Nottingham. The city is very geared towards students and international students in particular, and there's a lot of high quality student accommodation within the city. So the university again can provide support in finding accommodation. It also means that it's quite a good place to be for international students, but as a university, again, we have a very large international student population. So our programs are structured around supporting international students. I've mentioned how we do one module at a time, which really helps to focus on one thing at a time. There's lots of space within the way that we deliver the timetable to allow you to kind of do the pre-work and do any post-work, maybe to work part-time as well, if that's what you need to do. As soon as you arrive, we put a lot of support around encouraging students and enabling students to work with each other, to network with each other, to learn about their own cultural differences and how they can work together in a team and how we can support students through that. We do a lot of extracurricular events throughout the year. So some of them more subject related, some of them might be more social, again, to encourage that support for students to really feel part of the community while they're here. We also have something in the university called the Global Lounge. So this is a place where any student can come. Generally, they have sort of free drinks and food. So it's a very popular space. And you can go and learn about studying overseas, or you can just learn about other cultures, or it's just a nice place for international students to go and again feel part of the wider international student community. And they run specific events. So next week we've got the NTU Global Week. So a whole program of events going on to celebrate students from different cultures and countries and showcase different arts and cuisines and cultures from all around the world. So, it feels like a very internationally diverse university when you're here, and there's a whole load of support for students to help them when they're here as well.
All right. Do we have any more questions?
I can see a question about jobs and percentages of students finding jobs afterwards. So we tend to we do lots of employability tracking of students. We tend to do that at 3 months or 6 months, and then again at 15 months post graduation. It can vary by program. We tend to find that at 3 to 6 months, somewhere in the region of 85 to 95% of students are employed or in further study 3 to 6 months after graduation. That number increases slightly when you look at 15 months clearly. I don't have the data to hand about how many international students secure jobs in the UK, I'm afraid. I'll have to go away and see if I can dig into that a bit more. We tend to just look at student employment overall. We don't look at international students finding jobs in the UK. You know, students do find jobs in the UK, but clearly, and the post-study work visa is there to facilitate that. So yeah, but I don't have that specific figure to hand, I'm afraid. I can find out though, and I'll get back to you.
Alrighty, thank you so much for that one, Dr. Alex. So yeah, maybe you have, guys, do you have any other questions if you want to ask? Yeah, or not? Yep. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Alex. I think it's already good that you were able to answer a lot of questions. Yeah, you really went for it. So yeah, thank you again for this one. Yeah, and hoping to hear more from you in the future in our future presentations like this one. Alrighty.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
No,
much.
thank you for having me, and happy to help anytime. And of course, you know, really would well, you know, love to see some students from the Philippines here in Nottingham in the next academic year or beyond. So yeah, thanks for your time, everyone. Hope it was
Alrighty.
useful.
Alrighty. Okay, so yeah, we have another Q&A portion later. So if you like, you can stay here, so, Dr. Alex.
I can stay on the line. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'll just mute myself and turn the camera off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Alrighty.
Dr.
Thank you so much.
Alex. All right.
Thanks all.
Thank you also to our students who were very active sending in their questions. And if you have more questions, kindly type them in the chat box. All right. So I know it has been quite overwhelming with all the information. You won't be able to absorb everything. But for now, let me call in one MBA student from our next university, actually. So there will be another university that will be presenting, but currently there's just a little bit of technical problem. So let me call in one of MBA students in Northampton University to share with us his experiences as an international student who's kind enough to, you know, to allot some time with us today, Mr. Renzo Anico.
All right. Hello. Good morning. Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. Okay. So good morning. My name is Renzo, and I graduated in 2022 at De La Salle University, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in business administration at the University of Northampton in the UK, as you can see at the back. So first and foremost, I've been really impressed by the level of engagement and interaction within the classroom. The professors at the University of Northampton are just not educators, they're mentors who are deeply invested in our success. The emphasis on collaborative learning has been incredibly beneficial through group projects and discussions. I've had an amazing opportunity to exchange ideas with a very diverse group of individuals, each bringing their own unique perspective to the table. Another highlight of the course is the access to industry insight. We currently have guest speakers and a lot of workshops that provide real world context to the theoretical concepts we learn in class. This bridge between academia and, of course, the industry has been invaluable in shaping my understanding of business. Beyond the classroom, the university offers a vibrant campus life. There are numerous extracurricular activities, clubs, and societies that cater to a wide range of interests. So for me, I'm actually involved in the university's volleyball team where we compete with different universities such as Nottingham Trent. We recently had an opportunity to have a match with them like 2 weeks ago. And of course, it's not just about your academics here. It's about holistic development as well. Of course, pursuing a master's degree comes with a lot of challenges. But what's important is that the support system in this place, whether it's academic guidance from professors or mental health resources from the student services, I've always felt supported every step of the way. So just to sum it all up, my journey at the University of Northampton has been nothing short of enriching. From the stimulating academic environment to the sense of community fostered on campus, I feel really privileged to be part of the institution. And I'm excited to see where this journey takes me, and I can't wait to continue learning and grow as a business professional. So thank you, everybody.
Hey, so before I call in the next speaker, if any one of you who's interested to ask some questions, something about student life or anything that you can ask to Renzo, kindly feel free to type them in the chat box if you have. Take this opportunity,
What's
guys.
I'm seeing animal. Hello, animal. Animal Lasal. So, hi Renzo, what are your career plans after your MBA program? So, after my MBA program, actually, I'm here for 2 years. So the first year is for academics, learning, and the second year is the industrial part, which is the placement part. And after that, I'm gonna be applying for the graduate route. Basically, it's another form of visa that you apply to in the UK that you could have the opportunity to work here in the UK for another 2 years. So that's the route that I'm heading to, apply to different companies, a lot of different jobs. I'm looking forward to go to Manchester or London after Northampton. So yeah, I think that's the path that I'm leading on to.
Thank you for that, Renzo. I actually received another question on my DM. She's asking if you experienced any culture shock or was it easy for you
Oh my
to
God.
adjust? Yeah.
Oh my God. Culture shock, definitely 100% culture shock because I mean, being in the Philippines for what, almost 24 years of my life, and suddenly just like leaving and flying 10,000 miles away from home, it's just been really, a shock in terms of how people communicate here. I mean, it's been great. Don't get me wrong. It's been really amazing. The people's been really accommodating. It's just that how everybody like the food. There's no rice in the UK. I mean, being a Filipino and here for like 24 years, I'm really missing rice. And they only eat chips and a lot of different food here. So you have to be prepared for that, and as well as the diversity as well. There are people from India, there are people from Romania, and locals as well. So the engagement is gonna be a total shock for you. But it for me, in my experience, it was just like a couple of weeks, and then it was smooth sailing from then on. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Renzo. Do you guys have any other questions? Additional ones? Okay, there's one. She's just interested to know if you went there alone or were you with your family?
Okay, so I have the privilege to bring my entire family with me. So when I came here to the UK, they spent a couple of days here in the UK just to, for leisure stuff as well. But when I went to the University of Northampton, it was just basically me. So my parents were in London and I was in the UK. So yeah, basically they were with me, but they also left at the same time. So like they were just here for like a week or two, and from then on it was just like me. Yeah.
Do we have additional questions? I think for the IELTS requirements, tuition fee, our next speaker would be able to answer these questions. Okay, we have another one. You mentioned earlier about applying for graduate student visa. How are you preparing for that or not yet thinking about it?
So okay, so I still have a couple of years in preparation for the graduate visa, and right now my main focus is on the placement route, which is basically which will be discussed later on. It's gonna be a year of in the context of the Philippines, it's like OJT in a sense, but you get paid for it. So I'm focused on that, getting my all my resources, applying to different opportunities, not just in Northampton, London, Manchester, Birmingham, and everywhere. So I'm not yet thinking about it, but I'm also preparing my, my resume, my CV by volunteering to different charities here in the in Northampton. And yeah, basically just gaining more experiences as we go along, because I think it's going to be beneficial for you to prepare by gathering a lot of experiences before you tackle your graduate visa. Yeah.
Okay, for the next following questions, I think the next speaker would be able to answer those. But I do have one question for you,
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Renzo. How about in looking for accommodation? Was it like a challenge for you, or how did it go for you?
Okay. As for me, when I first came here to the UK, the University of Northampton has been excellent with accommodating with students with regard to their accommodation. So actually, in the first few months, like I would say first 3 months, I was in student halls. That's what we call the accommodations here in the UK, in the University of Northampton. I was in student halls for like 3 months, and then I've decided to move in with a couple of other Filipinos that I met here in the university, and now we're currently living together, four of us, in a house that we are renting. So I would say the difficulty of finding accommodation here in Northampton is not that difficult, because there's a lot of opportunities to gather or to ask people if they have friends or relatives that have accommodations and all that. And we also have different websites and applications to go with that. We have spare room and all that, and it's been really easy in a sense to find accommodation here in Northampton, and I didn't really have any difficulty in whatsoever. Yeah,
Thank you for that information. It's actually great to hear, no, since as what we can hear from other destinations, right? They're currently having a problem in terms of accommodation.
yeah,
And
yeah.
just to add, guys, perfect timing. If ever you proceed with IDP, we do have a lot of partner accommodations in the UK. So your counselor will be able to help you in terms of not just in terms of school application, but also in looking for accommodations. Okay, so we have another question from Carlo again. So, would you advise doing part-time job while completing your studies, or is it difficult to manage?
Okay, so when it comes to part-time job, for me, I don't want to impede my studies, because personally, I know myself that if I do find a part-time job, it would really affect my studies. It's just a personal, like, collective sense. But when it comes to balancing part-time jobs with your academics, I know a lot. All of my friends here in the UK, in Northampton, have part-time jobs, and everybody is doing amazing and impeccable with their studies. So it's more of time management in a sense, because this is a new environment for everybody, and like taking it step by step before leaning towards, okay, when I come to the UK, I need to find a part-time job. No, the thing is, you need to grasp the idea of the UK first, or like how the environment is, before engaging into anything serious. But a lot of the Filipinos here in the UK have part-time jobs while they're doing their master's degree, and no issues there or whatsoever. And they feel really amazing as well when they're doing, job opportunities while contributing to their studies as well, because most of them are in business, and most of their part-time jobs are in business related as well. So it contributes to the industrial aspect of it, the application of your theories to the work that you're doing as well. So yeah, it's not that difficult. I can assure you that. Thank you.
Okay, do we have additional questions for Renzo? Right. So I think there's no more questions. Thank you so much, Renzo, for your time. It's indeed, very helpful for our students here aspiring to study in the UK. I hope you guys are now more inspired and motivated to pursue your plans in studying abroad. All right. So to talk more about University of Northampton, where Renzo is currently studying now, let me call in the in-country representative or manager of Southeast Asia from University of Northampton, Miss Sonia Pili.
Hi, good evening, Bernadette. Good evening, everyone. Just correction, I'm only a in-country manager for Philippines and Indonesia. All right. So after hearing an actual testimony from one of our students, Renzo, he's currently studying there. Our next speaker, all right, will be a surprise. Okay. So actually, an MBA is a win-win. Every time, Bernadette, every time a student is asking me, what is the advantage of taking MBA in the UK? All right. As far as I understand, okay, MBA is always a win-win situation. Number one, okay, you're studying in the first world country, all right, an MBA course, all right. After you study, you can have a placement route, or it's your option if you don't want to have a placement route, like what Renzo mentioned a while ago, all right. And then after that, what you study, you can use it for your global experience for 2 years, all right. So once you come back in Philippines, it will be nice. You can teach in the academy, you can put up your own business, you can do a consultancy business as well, or you have a very nice position in the corporate world here once you apply, all right. That is a lot of advantage of taking MBA in the UK. And then, of course, and our next speaker, all right, after our actual student Renzo talk, she's a graduate of an MBA graduate in our university, and currently our international officer for East Asia and Southeast Asia, okay, from the Department of Global Engagement. He will present the the presentation that one of our program leader created. Okay, without further ado, please welcome Miss Kate Hong. Hello, Kate.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me okay? Just want
Yep,
to
yep.
test my mic.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, brilliant. So I'm Kate, as Sonia introduced me. So I'm working in the Department of Global Engagement at the University of Northampton. So I look after East Asia and Southeast Asia. So today I will do a quick presentation about the program because I was a student here at the University of Northampton. I was an MBA graduate. I had 2 years here at the university, and I have 1 year studying and another year working as a placement in the UK. So actually the student can ask me about in terms of the student perspective and also in terms of the work experience in the UK as well. So bear with me a second. I'm gonna share my screen just now. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yeah, I can see
Okay.
it. Mhm.
Yeah, brilliant. So, so I start our presentation. The MBA talk. Obviously, I'm not Dean Brooks. He had some technical problem today, so I'm doing the presentation. Okay. So obviously it's not me, but Dean is a senior lecturer in human resource management, and now he's the program leader of the MBA starting in summer 24. So for the MBA course, we have 3 intakes for students. We have January intake that's happening now, and then the next intake is a June intake starting in June 24, and we have September intakes, which is our main intake. So for MBA program, we have 3 different intakes. every year. So because this is a very popular course, about the presentation today, I just quickly talk about us, about Waterside campus, and then we talk about how we teach and how who's the module leaders and assessment at the University of Northampton in the MBA program. And last but not least, I talk about the working experience in the UK, student visa, everything in relation to the student life in Northampton, UK, as well as other supports that we are offering to students, for example, accommodation, student union, and also we have student information desk and additional support. So it's quite full of information you need to know about us. So I start with the Waterside campus. So as you can see, this is some images of our campus, and our campus was built in 2018, which means it's a brand new campus. Everything is very state of the art and very modern. As you can see in the photo, we have 4 different buildings for different purposes. And do you know our campus is near the river running along? So that's why we call it the Waterside campus. Very beautiful and amazing campus, I must say. And I think that is the image Dean might have taken. That's the bridge leading to our campus. And that's another building on campus called Senate. That's the overview of the campus. On the right-hand side is a hotel and accommodation village where students live. Another view of the campus, and this is inside the learning hub where is our main teaching and learning building with different activities. So you know about our campus. I'm not sure if you know about Northampton, but we are a historic town. If you are a big fan of boots and fancy shoes, you probably heard of us because Northampton is a home of the shoe industry 100 years ago. So we are the home of Doc Martin in the UK. So probably you know about it. So yes, we are not a big city, so we actually have the historic town setting. That's why we actually living in Northampton means you can save your money. According to our statistics, living in Northampton can save you 30% cheaper than the whole UK average, and actually 50% cheaper than London. So yeah, it could be an option for you if you want to save up some money and also want to spend your time in a historic town in the UK. Moving forward, this is the business and law faculties. This is some information that probably when you enroll with us, you will see that faces very familiar because they teach here at the University of Northampton. And this is also some lecturers that are working at the faculties. This is Scotland. This is our student trip, the field trip that the university offer for free for the MBA students in 2022. So as you see, we organize the trip free for students. It's just for I think on the trip, students had the chance to visit some companies there, and they had the chance to get some sightseeings, and it was really fun. And they organized every year, and it's absolutely free. Students just need to pay for their own expenses. For example, if they want to buy some souvenirs, or they just want to get some ticket to get into some museum, that's what student will pay, and the university paid for the accommodation fee and the transportation. So it's actually a very good chance to see different parts of the UK. June 23, NBA student had the chance to visit Bournemouth, which is a very famous beach in the UK. It's very good time, and it seems like our student had some fun. Also, we have social event and talent night in March 23, some dancing here and also some traditional costume, very amazing. Okay, so different events happening across our program. And moving on, so how we teach, we actually adopted the active blended learning on campus on the MBA program. So you will have around 12 to 20 hours per week on class, which means you need to go to the class to attend the sessions face to face. But how about 20 hours left? I think you will need to do a lot of work, a lot of prep work. For example, the tutor, the lecturer, normally they will give you the list of the books that you need to read. And then before the session, you will need to do the preparation. You need to dig into the knowledge. You need to do some reading in advance and take notes about the question or the topic that the lecturer wants you to discuss when you are on campus joining to face-to-face sessions. And after the face-to-face session on campus, so during the class, our lecturer will do the consolidate knowledge for you and also do the follow-up. So that's how we teach the active blended learning. So that's some images of our class. You see, we have a different variety of students. Students come from different countries. Some come from Japan, Philippines, Southeast Asia, India, Pakistan, and we have home students as well. Yeah. So you probably ask what you're going to study in your MBA. So this is the modules of our MBA program. This will happen in a year, which means those modules will be split into 3 semesters. So for example, for the first semester, you will have the first 4 modules, and the second one, you will study the 4 modules, and the last one, you will have, if you choose to have the placement, this is a time you will need to confirm with us whether you had the placement or not. So if you don't have a placement, you will be automatically switched into the dissertation route, which will takes you a year in general, I mean a year to complete the MBA program. But if you choose to opt for the placement and you successfully manage to get a placement, they will allow you to have another year to work in the UK like me. So for me, I have 2-year program because I have 1 year studying MBA and the other year I work in the industry as a placement. Then after the placement, I just need to write a report and then I graduate. So, okay, so this is how we assess. We don't have any exams in the MBA program, it's lucky. But however, we have essays, we have multiple choice, we have projects, presentations, etc. So exams might be only adapted and adopted in the financial program. But however, when I study, I didn't have any exams. So I'm not sure in the following years if we have any exams or not. Student visa and engagement, this will be handled by ISS, which is our international student support team. So we have the whole team on campus just to support you if you want to, for example, if you want to apply for the graduate visa or you apply for the Schengen visa. So there is a whole team to support you in terms of visa and immigration. I think Renzo probably share with you about the differences and challenges when you study abroad. It could be some culture shock, food, weather in the UK, also accommodation and all kind of things. I think that would be easier if you can ask me some questions at the end of the presentation. So Renzo or myself can share my experience when I study in the UK. Also about the jobs, as probably you might know, students in the UK can work part-time in the UK for maximum 20 hours per week, that during the term time. And after the term time, on holidays, students can work full-time 40 hours per week. So some website that could help you to find a placement or part-time jobs are on the screen. Okay, so part-time job in the UK on campus, we do have an agency that supports students to find a part-time job on campus. It could be a student ambassador position, or it could be some jobs that are on town center. For example, you can apply to work in some retails. You can be a waiter or waitress, etc. And that's really depend on what you want, but there are opportunity out there to find a part-time job. Last but not least, I talk about the student unions and our societies. We have offer more than 40 clubs and society on campus, and we don't charge anything, which means you just find out where their meetings are and or when do they have a meeting, and then you just join. It's absolutely free for our students when you enroll as a full-time student on campus. We have different societies. We have football, we have hockey, rugby, badminton, swimming, tennis, dancing. I think dancing is quite a popular club at our universities. Accommodation, we have three different accommodation. If you want to live on campus, you want to live with us by the student or accommodation. So first of all, you can live on campus on waterside halls, and the next one is St. John's, is in town. So it just take you 5 minutes to walk to our campus. And last but not least, we have Scholar Green Student Village. It's half an hour by bus to campus. So that one is the most affordable one. It's around 80 to £100 per week. Okay, so we have different support to our students. We have a student information desk, which is based on the ground floor of our learning hub. So you can just pop in and ask anything about your course information, timetable, any administrative matters, or exams, ceremonies, or if you want to have your council tax certificates, which will allow you to get the exemption from paying council tax. Also ask information about enrollment and student letter, everything will be available, and you can ask via our student information desk. Transportation, we have different options. We have bus and trains. We have park and ride, which is a car park that's half an hour away on campus, and obviously we have different car parks on campus as well. Also, we have a health center on campus that you can register as your doctor surgery. Different type of support on campus. We have tutors, academic librarians, learning development tutors, and counseling and mental health service on campus as well, and financial guidance team who support you if you need advice in terms of money and how you spend in the UK. Okay, so I think that's everything from me. If you have any questions, so I just feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kate, for the very insightful words and information given about Northampton. So yeah, let me just double check if we have any questions. So let me see. So yeah, I got one here. So how does your university ensure a smooth transition for international students into the UK education system and campus life? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I can understand because I was a student here at the University of Northampton. So there are different support from our end to make sure that you have a smooth transition from your own country to the UK. The first team you should contact is ISS, which I mentioned is the International Student Support Team. So they are based on the ground floor of the Learning Hub. They are there, and then you can book an appointment to meet them, or you can just walk in. So if you have any questions about your class, about your visa, about immigration, enrollment, etc. So that's the first team that you should meet. They have different workshop every week for you. For example, they have workshop how to learn and how to adapt to the new culture, how to apply for your national insurance number, how to work part-time in the UK, etc. So that's the first thing that you should look for when you arrive is the ISS. The second team I would recommend is the academic team, which is your personal tutor. So when you enroll with us, for me, when I started, I was assigned a tutor. So I always reach out to my tutor whenever I have anything, any problem with my classes. For example, if I miss a class, I need to meet my tutor to catch up with my the assignments and anything that I miss in the class. So the academic tutor is really helpful in terms of the classes and our academic life. They can help you with your assignments, guide you how to write, how to learn in the UK, and they don't mind meeting you every week. So yeah, just to consolidate some knowledge, for example. So there are two teams. Other than that, I think we have different club and societies. So I think our students are really interested in the club and society. It's absolutely free. So feel free to join any club and society that you like to join, you are interested in, because that's where you have fun and that's where you meet new friends, new international students as well. And I think meeting new friends and it is very essential to adapt to the new culture in the UK.
Ah, I see. Alrighty. Okay, thank you so much for that. I have another question. So from Dementerio, so he asked, he would like to know, how did you prepare for your placement, and do you have any tips to increase the likelihood of an international student to get a placement? Yeah.
Yes, of course, because I had a placement myself. So I worked 1 year in a local company in Northamptonshire. So actually, the way I secure my placement is when I study, I connected with my tutors and my lecturers in my classes. You just need to be active, ask a lot of questions, really engage in the conversation and the classes. And I reach out to support. So I received a recommendation from my lecturer, and then he introduced me to a company who actually at that time they had a vacancy, a position that I can apply as a placement. So first tip for me is always reach out for support. It could be from your lecturer, from your tutor, we have from different staff at the university. So because that's our lecturers, they come from the industry, they have different connections with the companies. It could be the local companies in Northamptonshire. So that is a really good source for you to apply for the placement. So that's my first tip. The second one is at that time I asked for support with my CV and the interview skills from our department, which we have it's called the Student Future. So we have the whole department to support students to find a placement on internship or a part-time job in the UK. So students actually at that time, I received their advice with my CV. I did some mock interview with them. It was really helpful for me to find a placement. Yeah, so I think there are two tips here. First of all, ask for your lecturer and your tutors because they might have connections in the UK that you actually don't know what opportunity might be out there. And the second one is we have the department called the Student Future. They are willing to support you to tailor your CV, do mock interview, advise you in terms of career. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. I see. Alrighty. Okay, so I do have another question. So how diverse is the student body, and what efforts does the business school make to provide inclusivity and diversity in the student body? Yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. So how diverse is the student body? So is
Okay.
it, yeah, is there a lot of Asians, Africans, like that? And if so, what efforts does the school do to promote inclusivity and diversity in the student body?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. So first of all, so that the diversity of our student body. So as a university in general, we have 14,000 students. Only 4,000 are international. So the most of our students are home and UK students. In MBA classes, I can tell you there are different. We have more than 20 different nationalities in our MBA classes. For example, myself, I come from Southeast Asia as well. We have students coming from China, Japan, Pakistan, India, and when I study, we did have home student, UK student as well. So it's kind of an interesting mix. Student in my class, there are a couple coming from Europe. They're coming from Romania and one coming from Poland. So I think it's kind of a mixed nationalities in the MBA. Actually, and it's also relate to the next question, what the university do to ensure that students have the best experience with us. So for the MBA class, I think, as I mentioned in my presentation, we organize field trip for students. Students as together, they went to Scotland in 22 and went to Bournemouth, which is in the south of the UK in 23. So it's a great chance to just mix and mingle with other students, and you make new friends, and you just feel like you have the chance to get to know each other better. Also, we have the culture nights. If you enroll with us, it's probably at the beginning of the term. We have the culture and social night event where students bring their own food. They wear out the fabulous traditional dress, and then they share their culture with each other. So it's really a good opportunity to understand different culture, because everybody here is come from a different country and have different background. Yeah.
Alrighty, okay. So yeah, final question I have here is that, are there any unique extracurricular activities for your students in the university, or any kind of student organization that's
Yeah.
related to business? Yeah. Can you state some?
In general, we have a student, an organization that organize the trips for the student, and is also could be free as well. So that student called the International Student Society. I will send you the exact name in the chat box. So they have meeting on every Monday. So every Monday they organize the meeting for the international students to come and just, they organize trips as well. And they do something fun for the students. So they get to know each other and get used to the UK culture and education system. That's in general. For business, I think there's a club in the business faculty for the student at the University of Northampton. There is one for project management that's really related to business. So that's a project management club that you can join. And other than that, I do know my lecturer, and also it could be your lecturer as well in the future. So his name is Adrian, and Adrian organized like a volunteer, and he has a charity for students to join. So if student can just ask him, and also he has a couple of projects. Then if you are willing to support him in terms of the research, then he will need some volunteer to support him with his research in business, because that's his research area interest. So I probably drop the name of the organization that we have in the chat box, and the club as well, a society. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kate, for that insightful presentation. Students will definitely have a unique experience at Northampton University with your inspiring, purpose-built facilities, support to develop the skills of your students in the world of work, and a curriculum that is led by the needs of the industry. Before we proceed to the next Q&A portion, let me walk you through first about our company a little bit, just shortly, just so that you'll know a bit of our background as to how we can help you if you proceed and push through your plans in studying abroad with IDP. So you might be wondering who IDP is. Next slide, please. Right, IDP is a pioneer in providing the needs of the modern student. We've been in this industry for 54 years already, which means that we have proven our credibility and legitimacy for how many years now? Next slide, please. We are a global leader in international education and a proud co-owner of IELTS. I guess almost all, if not all of you are familiar with IELTS since I've been reading a lot of questions about IELTS. So yeah, we are a proud co-owner of IELTS. Next slide, please. IDP also currently represent more than 600 schools across all educational levels, which means that if you will push through your plans with IDP, you've got variety of options. You're not limited to just one country, one program, one university. You have a lot of countries in as part of your options and universities. Next slide, please. Of course, speaking of countries, we are currently in 36 countries globally with 100 international education placement centers. Next slide, please. And we are proud to share that we have sent 500,000 international students to their preferred destination or universities. And of course, I would like to highlight that the services that we offer here at IDP are for free. You heard it right. Everything is for free from start to finish of your application process. So the services that we offer are counseling, hassle-free application service, visa application assistance, and up to pre-departure support. Of course, our services don't stop there. We also have our student essentials. So if you need some assistance in opening a bank, in looking for accommodation, as I've mentioned earlier, in making sure that your funds are securely transferred, or in looking for insurance, IDP could definitely help you with that. Next slide, please. Okay, so aside from expert counseling services that I've mentioned, we also have international study seminars that we hold weekly for free. So like this one, we have different topics. We invite different universities. It depends per program or per topic, no, or subject that we will be discussing during that info session. And lastly, we also have our education fair and events that we hold sometimes biannually or annually, wherein we fly in international representatives here in the Philippines, and a good opportunity for students like you to meet with them personally and ask questions, technical and more specific questions to the university. Okay, so aside from those, of course, we have additional stuff that we can offer to you. We have our study abroad tools. What are these tools? We have our cost of living calculator. So feel free to take a screenshot to download this one after our discussion. This cost of living calculator will help you gauge as to how much you need to prepare for your preferred destination. But of course, I will still highly encourage you to book a consultation with us, because your counselor could help you with a breakdown as to how much you really need to prepare depending on your university, country, or program. All right. For the next app, we have our IDP Live app. You can download this one on Google Play and App Store. So through this app, you can see our university partners. You can check their profiles, the programs that they offer, estimated tuition fee amounts of each program, and you could also track your applications through this IDP Live app. Okay, so what's next for you? All right, so once again, book an appointment with our IDP counselors. Kindly send a message to IDP Appointments Christine in the chat box and send your information. All right. Feel free to connect with us on our social media handles. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and even YouTube. Okay, so we're now opening the floor once again for some questions, for IDP, for Northampton. We still have Miss Tony here and Kate from Northampton. I think we don't have Haroon and NTU, but we'll see if we can still answer some of your questions. But for now, we have Miss Tony here and Kate, if you have more questions.
Hi, everyone. Go ahead. Just type in your questions here in the chat box so that we'll be able to address them and give you good information for you to pick your schools. Okay. Hello. All Alrighty, guys, questions? Mm.
Okay, I received one direct message, but this is for IDP. Um, can we walk into office? Yes, definitely. We have an office in Pasig. We have an office in Makati. We have an office in Cebu. You could also call us and set up an appointment to make sure that the counselor will be there in the office. Okay, but yeah, definitely you can. Do you have any other questions for Northampton? Or yeah, Miss Sonny here.
So I got one here. It's asking from Miss Sonny. So can you give us some other questions, some other answers that are related to like success stories or notable achievements by Filipino graduates? Anything else that we haven't heard of?
So the Filipino student in Northampton, they're just one big happy family. They help each other. All right. For example, if you, especially for this coming June intake, I will introduce them to the last September intake, last January and September intake. So they connect accordingly and they help each other. And we always have like a welcoming committee. In fact, the student like Renzo, okay, they will ask, Tita, who is coming for the coming intake so that we can guide them. So it's like a one big happy family relationship, all the Filipino students in Northampton. All right. And then they organize Christmas parties, they surprise Filipino student and even some Asian student. They're surprised. The Southeast Asian student, they're very united. And so yeah, it's very nice so that you will not be like homesick. You cannot feel that you will feel that you have a family within the university in the Southeast Asian region. That is, one of the things that we develop, especially that we're very particular with mental health for the Gen Z. That is one of the support that you can get from us.
I see. And yeah, I got another question. So, what are the different kinds of scholarships or financial aid opportunities that are available for Filipino students who may need to ask some assistance regarding their tuition fees or something like that? Yep.
Yeah. We offer tuition fees start from 10, 20 to 30%. Okay, depend on the academic grades. All right. Those we offer a tuition fee, and then if they really want to ask for the budgets, how to do the budget, we have like a format of the budgeting that which is so nice to really Gabriel, because majority of the Filipino student, they really guided on that budget, because majority of the Filipino student, they have a part-time job, so they save money really because there's an ROI, particularly after they graduate the postgraduate work visa. All right, they save money. That's why there's a like really a guidelines for them on how to handle finances. All right, because they earn, they learn, they earn. It's always a win-win situation.
I see. So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, I do have one final question for both Miss Sonny and Kate. So yeah, may I ask for some tips for students that are kind of afraid to taking the next step to studying in the UK? What can you tell them on how to prepare themselves? What can they do to be more informed and less scared for to travel abroad, especially in the UK? Yep.
UK, please.
Um, that's very exciting question because I experienced that when I was an international student. So when I first arrived, I must admit I had culture shock because everything here when I first arrived is so different from everything in my home country in Southeast Asia. So you will experience that as well. I think that a part of the learning process. Then first of all, when you arrive, you will experience the culture shock, you will miss your home, you will miss your parents, your friends, and your lifestyle in Philippines, because I think Philippines, it's just different. But it's a very vibrant country, it's in tropical country, but in the UK, the lifestyle different. So for example, the shops are on Sunday, it normally close at 4 p.m. So that's just one thing that's different from Southeast Asia part. I love Southeast Asia so much. So I think that's a part of the process. First of all, you will experience that difficulties and challenges when you first arrive. However, you will blend in and you will adapt to a new environment gradually. For me, it takes a couple of months. For some students, it just takes a couple of weeks. So it's really different depending who you are and like how you adapt to a new environment. And we do provide support for you as well. So the second phase, the second stage is adapting. Like you will get used to it. You will get hang of it in the next couple of months. Do allow yourself some time to experience the difficult and do allow some time to get used to it. It doesn't have to be quick. It doesn't have to be, it's not a competition. You just allow yourself enough time to move to a new country and to learn new things. And the next phase, the last phase is thriving. And when you get used to it, when you adapt to a new environment, you make new friends, you have a new circle of friends, and you meet lecturers and tutor. You even have part-time jobs. You will thrive, and absolutely it will be a brilliant time. So yeah, I think it's the whole process of moving into a different country. It will be difficult. It might have some challenges, but believe me, because I experience it, it's at the end of the day, at the end of the learning, at the end of the study abroad journey, it will reflect and you will see it will worth it. Yeah, that's my experience.
So how about you, Miss Tommy? How do you guide your students that are applying? What encouraging words do you have to give to them when they are planning their trip to the UK? Yep.
Actually, my experience in this industry for 15 years, even way back when I was in the Gulf region in Bahrain, okay, I handle Arab student and a couple of Asian student, all right? So that's why I know that especially during our pre-departure, every time we talk, okay, we give lecture, I invite even the parents, all right? So I invite the parents, I invite the students so that the support group of the family is very important. All right. And I know already, even to my Filipino students, during the first 2 months, every week I chat with them and I see to it that I call them. Because that is the first 2 months. Like Kate said from her own experience, that is the difficulties of adjustment period. Homesick sila. All right. So I have a couple of students that to the point that more than an hour I talk to them, video call, okay, what are you doing? What are you cooking? Basta meron ka na lang masabi, all right? You really have to ask them. That's why when I was there, I developed a good, to Filipino group. Now, especially the elders, the one ahead of them, all right? They have a chat group for Filipino, and then they will invite, oh, we cook tapa, we cook sinigang on a weekend. Maybe you miss Filipino dishes. Please come over. All right. So those are the support group that you need to know, and even the part-time study, the part-time job. All right. They will chat on the group. Oh, I heard that there's a part-time job here. Anyone who's interested, please check. Okay. Those are the support that we need to share to all Filipino, not only for Filipino, to all the students. And then I always advise from the beginning to my student that be resilient, because your lesson will email to you ahead, a couple of days, a week ahead, so you have to study in advance. So be proactive. So, and thanks God that all of them is really, following my advice, and they told me, yeah, Tita, it's right, because inside the room, the professor is not talking. We're the one talking and engaging. So that is the one that we really want to Northampton produce a smart and work ready individual. Especially our employability rate is great, really, from 94 to 97%. We have a very, very good and a very good overall rating in employability. That's why majority of the Filipinos, especially the alumni, they being offered by a sponsor visa. To that fact, we have a couple of students already working under the sponsorship visa because they produce by a good and university.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Sunny. And yeah, I got another one. It's for Miss Kate. So yeah, Kate, did you see yourself working and staying longer in the UK when you graduated, or were you studying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I graduated, yes, I did see myself. Yeah, I work in the UK right after I graduated. So so now I'm based in the UK. I live in Northampton now, and then I work for the University of Northampton in the international office of the university. So yes, after I graduated, yeah, I worked in the UK. So yeah, I'm a testimonial.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes,
And
Kate is
yeah.
a living testimonial,
Oh,
a product,
yeah.
and now working, and she's our head in the Southeast Asia.
Wow, that's so great to hear. Yeah.
We have
Thank you.
Filipino brand ambassador actually
Oh, really?
as well. Yes, we have
Mm.
Filipino brand ambassador.
I see. Alrighty. Okay, so yeah, I guess we don't have any more questions, and we can finally wrap up this presentation. So, yeah, Miss Bernadette, do you have any other closing remarks for this one?
Yeah, of course, I would like to thank Miss Sonny and Kate, the two representatives now that are left. I think Renzo is still here, but yeah, thank you so much. It's been a very informative, insightful presentation, discussion, perhaps. No, we received a lot of questions, very interesting questions that I was able to gauge that the students were really interested. I think it's easier to really connect if there are students, right, with experiences. And thank you so much for that initiative, Miss Sony, for inviting your students from Northampton. So
Yeah.
thank you also, everyone. Yeah.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
Have a
It has
blessed
been
day,
lovely
Kate.
talking to you.
Thank you.
Have
Have
a
a great
lovely
day.
night.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.